Welcome to Bowl Fans International, a special edition of who our next opponent is. So, coming up in less than a week on the 25th of July at 9 p.m. local time, Panathinaikos will host Botev Plovdiv in the second round of the qualifying of Europa League. So, let's kick off on what to expect from our opponents. So, who are our opponents? Um, Botev Plovdiv. They come from Bulgaria. Um, they did play against Maribor and progressed in a 4-3 aggregate. The first game was 2-1 home win for Botev, and in the reverse fixture, they held on for a 2-all draw and qualified for the second round, which we will be hosting them in the first leg. So, according to Transfer Market, bit of background at an estimate of 11.85 million. So, um, pretty much not high up in terms of the quality clubs that you'll see in this kind of competition, but they could spring a surprise or two if you do take them lightly, as we just saw um Maribor did how they made Europa League. So they did finish third in their domestic league. You could see that in their season they had more losses than wins, and they went on a pretty rough patch there at the end. What that shows us is they're a team that does score, which is what I said. You can't really take them too lightly, even though the quality does seem to lack a bit. They do concede a fair bit of goals as well. They typically line up in a 4-2-3-1 formation, so this is how they lined up against Maribor. There is a Greek name there, Baloyanis. He was a bulk youth that was on loan to Volos and was at Crete, Orphe Crete. You can see in the squad. It's pretty much the new 4-4-2 essentially. So they deploy a 4-2-3-1, and what I did is just took snippets, took videos of a few passages of play, their goals, how they conceded, so I can give you analysis of what we can expect as well. So you'll see here the first goal that they conceded actually. So they're in the light blue strip. Um, and they did concede a fairly soft goal. Maribor did open the scoring in the 13th minute. Just a few passes outside the box. Um, Guy took a pretty, it was an okay shot, not a lot of power, and he just beat the keeper. And what you'll see is in this still picture is they play a really flat four. In their defensive line. They have a really flat four, and they use their midfielders, the six and the eight, or the two defensive mids, to really anchor around and bully teams, do a lot of the work with their. You see them flat here, and it just presented the opportunity for Maribor to find a bit of space outside the box and take that shot and beat the keeper as well. And in here, you'll see this passage of play. This did not lead to a goal, but this was a threatening situation. Here you see again, kind of a flat fall scenario. The two midfielders in that picture as well. Bit of ball watching, and I'll show you the next slide. What happens here? So, the ball is right up on the line on the right wing. The player plays it just a short pass to the player next to him, the mighty ball player next to him, and there's a lot of space, and this is what the space leads to. And you see the arrow. The number 22 was the player that ran from the midfield straight through, and none of the Botev Plovdiv players even picked it up. This did not result into a goal. Yeah, they did win a corner from it, so the keeper did get a touch to it, I believe, and it just bobbled out. Here you'll see um how Plovdiv scored. Really poor passage from Maribor. They're just playing the back. Careless, careless pass. Player first time and just and this was the sub that came on. The sub came on, um, and he just basically just punished the Maribor defense. So um, that's when I say they're a bit dangerous. You got to not really give them cheap opportunities like that. As you can see, they can punish teams. So this game they didn't have a lot of chances, but the chances that they did have, they punished Maribor. So Noir Trucu is the player that came on at halftime, young 18, 20-year-old, and he pretty much changed the game with he did get the goal, and in the next passage of play, he did get the assist. And you'll see, once again, I find the second goal that Botev Plovdiv did score was, I'd say, pretty poor defending and defensive reads. They didn't look like there was a whole lot of communication. So this is just a replay of the previous goal, but it will lead into the next attack that Botev did score, and you'll just see here. So the player's holding the ball, a lot of space. He finds the winger, bad shot shot turn into pass, and the striker there buried it. So here you can see how it broken down is that the right defender is ball watching. The centre back in red is also ball watching. The the players just stand there. So what the ball player does is he sees a bit of a gap, passes it through to the left fullback, and he just plays a simple pass then to the right, to that left winger. He's isolated, plenty of space to go into the box, and then his shot turn pass finds the striker. Um, Pretty poor defensive reads, and that's what we got to worry between who plays in that right centre back and that right back. In our previous friendly against um Maccabi, uh, the Israeli team, Maccabi Netanya. There was a couple of instances where Bart and it could have been, I think, Cortez or Vayanidis just seemed a little bit off the pace, a little bit lack of communication, and the opposition almost scored. So right here, it was just really basic play where really the defensive lap from Maribor really cost them the tie against a team that in this second leg especially didn't offer much. They're the only two noticeable attacks that they had. And this is the goal that they scored to make it 2-2. Um, Short corner, and it set up a tense final 10, 15 minutes with that goal. And you can see how the defense is set up here. There's three players unmarked at the back post. So when you talk about poor defense last season, looks like it's gonna carry on this season as well. Poor reading, and that's how they equalized. Um, how do we feel? I think on paper, our team is light years ahead. The the preseason hasn't been great in terms of result wise. We know 40 will be out for the first leg, so and Sporter hasn't really gotten any game time since arriving back from his Euros campaign. So the first leg is the leg that we really got to capitalize. They do have a lot of flaws. Even watching from the first leg, their keeper is very shaky. he doesn't look too confident, and I don't believe the defense has a lot of confidence in his shot stopping and his positioning. So that's something to look out for. Uh, Botev, Plovdiv do play with a physical presence. So they will go in defensive and they'll go in very hard. So we just got to maintain our composure and utilize the speed of our wingers. I think in this game you'll see Mancini and I'm looking at Bakasetas to have who'll be playing in that 10. I can see him having big impact in this game as well. That's where we're going to rely on in the home leg. Um, for this. So in Greece, it will be on the 25th, and then the return leg will be the following week on the 1st of August, same time, 9 p.m. local time in Greece. The winner obviously progresses to the third round of the Europa qualifying rounds, and we will already know who the opposition will be by then. So on paper, I'm not going to give any predictions here, but on paper, it's fairly obvious that we are the superior squad, just mainly based mainly on um, the quality of plays that we have, and it's going to be obviously the first test for Diego Alonso, and we'll be playing the game at Oaxaca as well as we will not be playing any further games at Leofordo, so the game will be at Oaxaca, so a bigger field by capacity as well as pitch dimensions as well. So we'll see Alonso ball in full effect and see what has translated from his teachings, his trainings into the first official match. Um, Thank you for listening. Also, as Lucas is pointing out, follow our socials. Link is below. Type it up. Linktree, Fans International. Follow our socials. There you can gain access to the podcasts, whether it's on Spotify, YouTube, or our blogs that we put up. And we will be doing a podcast as well, just a preview of the match. So we'll go more into detail as well, followed by a podcast post match as well. So thank you for listening.